Hello, this is Antoine with another episode of Out Knows. We encourage young athletes to achieve their very best outside of the game. And like every show, we're blessed to have another awesome guest. And y'all know how I do. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Thank you for having me, by the way. I'm Ronnie Porter. I play linebacker at USC here in Columbia, and I'm a rising senior. So, yeah, I'm excited to be on the show.
I appreciate you, Rodney, for being with us. You ready to get into the questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to first ask, where you originally from, born and raised?
I'm really originally from a small town called Nice, South Carolina. I don't know if many people have heard of it, but one stop, like friendly town. Everybody knew everybody. So I grew up like my uncle lived right across from me. My cousins lived right across from me. So I grew up kind of in a small area, and I moved to Columbia in second grade. So I'm from.
Okay, all right. So the little town you from, I guess for those that's not from the South Carolina area, what's the closest big city, in South Carolina that people may be more familiar with to the town that you grew up in?
Probably Orangeburg. That's probably y'all might know Orangeburg County. That's all we say. But y'all probably want to know Nice is Denmark area. It's a really small town. It's a really
Okay.
good town. It taught me a lot, but grateful to be here in Columbia.
That's cool. That's cool. So I want to ask, when did you get started in football?
I played football my whole life. Like for me, growing up, probably like many others, like football is the way I connected with my cousins and my older siblings, older brother, older cousin. And I really enjoyed playing football since I was 4 or 5. I can remember Thanksgiving playing with my cousins, watching the Cowboys games, or every Sunday, just every day, just inside school, even playing football, like playing with a water bottle with sand in it, just playing with my older cousins. They really got me into football. But my first time ever playing organized football was when I was 7 years old. And I was grateful enough that my uncle signed me and my cousins and my brother up. But he just took us in the back of his pickup truck one day. He said, "I got something for y'all." My first time ever playing football was like with the HKT Hornets, which is like the school there in Nices, and it's like their recreational school, recreational league. I'm sorry about that. And I started playing. There's like 3 different divisions, and I started like, with the 6, 7 year old team. So that was my first time.
All right, cool. Did you play any other sports in your youth?
Uh, in my youth, I played a little bit of everything. I used to play some soccer, play some basketball, but most of the time I always looked like a football player playing basketball out there. So I mean, football player playing basketball, yeah. So and soccer and all the other sports. That's pretty much all the sports I did in my youth. But when I got to high school, I played some sports.
All right. So, is it safe to say that football was your favorite, or was there another sport that you would have liked to stick stuck with?
You'll never believe this, but back where I'm from, wrestling like a huge thing. So football's always my main sport, but wrestling probably like my second. I used to love WWE, watch Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, all that with my family. That's another big thing we used to always watch. That's back in the days before I knew it was, what I mean, it wasn't real. But that used to go hand in hand. So me and my brother used to watch wrestling. We used to wrestle each other the whole time, me and my cousin. So football was wrestling when I was younger.
Now I'm gonna say this though, Ronnie. I think all of us went through our stages where we had to come to the realization that wrestling wasn't real. But I will say this: wrestling still, even on the WWE, it takes a lot of talent to do some of the athletic things that they do in that sport. So I still tip my hat to it, even though we know some of the outcomes may be staged. I think you really have to be super athletic to be involved, even in wrestling on that stage. Would you agree?
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. Even though you can't tell me when whatever John Cena and Batista was fighting, and he put him whatever he did. I mean, Batista did the Batista bomb to the Rock or whatever, and he paralyzed him. You can't tell me that wasn't real as a kid. Or the Undertaker hitting somebody with the can't really move. I can't remember what the move is called, but I know like I think it's called I can't remember, but I just think all that was real. Rey Mysterio like jumping off the ropes and stuff, and Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy hitting the back flip and sweet chin music, all that. You couldn't tell me that wasn't real as a kid. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the moves in themselves still were real. I think the biggest part is just some of the stuff was scripted. I mean, I know I'm well before you, so I go back to Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors and NWA and all of that. And so same thing. There would be the matches where you would see a lot of bleeding and things like that. And so at that stage, I used to think it was real, but again, it was still entertainment. It still takes a lot of athleticism in wrestling. So I definitely tip my hat to them. So did you do some wrestling in high school?
Actually, I did one wrestling practice, and that was pretty much it. Me and my brother did one wrestling practice one day after. I think we did because we played basketball also. Back like that's when we found out wrestling was like more of a like stage and all that. So basketball kind of our second thing, kind of if you would say that. So we went like one day to try it out, but our wrestling team was pretty good, but we just really wasn't interested. We really never really got into wrestling. So, but now that I go back looking at it, I wish I would have wrestled inside high school. Probably been real fun. I probably been really good at it.
Okay, all
The
right.
way I actually
So I
wrestled,
want
the
to
way me and my
ask you.
brother wrestled.
Okay, so I heard you mentioned your brother. Do you have how many siblings do you have?
Um, right now, like 12, 13 siblings.
Okay, and what are you all close in age, or what's the age difference? Where do you fall? Are you one of the youngest or one of the older?
I'm the second child on both sides. My dad has 12 kids. My mom has 4 kids, and I have two full siblings. My brother Rondo, which he's at USC with me, and my younger sister Amaya, and she just graduated high school. I have an older brother and an older sister, and the rest are pretty much younger. We have like a younger brother who's 3. I just had a little sister who's 1, and a couple of them like still inside high school and middle school. My little brother Calvin, he's like going rising sophomore right now, and I also have a sister Lila. She's in middle school, so we kind of spread out all over the place,
All right.
very
So
age
being at
wise.
USC, do you some of your younger siblings? Do you have younger siblings that are looking to play football or looking up to you and your brother that are also at USC?
Actually, every day I feel like I try to set the example for my youngest brothers and sisters. Even though my sisters really don't play no sports, but just like even inside the classroom, I try to like show them a good example on and off the field. Whatever you can achieve what you want, just all about hard work. And my younger brother, he's I feel like he's realizing that Calvin, he's playing soccer right now. He's not on the top. He's not really tall or big and like physically gifted, but he works really hard, and I feel like that's something that's set him apart. That's something we try to teach him all the time. Like if you want something, you gotta work hard for it. Even like on and off the classroom, we always tell them to keep up with their grades. Like we're all in a group chat together, so anytime like I know the reports come out like every semester for them, I ask to see the report card. I always ask to see how they're doing in school. And I always try to like every month or so, I try to get together, all us together, and we like do something as a like as siblings, you know what I mean? So we stay close. So either that's going to the movies, if that's going bowling, whatever they want to do, or like just going to fish, like simple things like that. So
That's good. That's good. So let's talk about. I guess we'll get into. You talked about playing a few different sports, and so as you get into middle school and in the high school time, what were some of your highlights in the sports that you played? What were the sports that you played in middle school and high school, and then what were some of your highlights?
middle school, high school, I would say starting back with middle school, besides football, I'll say some of the highlights was just like I feel like the best part is just like bonding with your teammates. Middle school was really fun. 7th grade, I kind of played for this record like this AAU team, the Junior Bearcats or whatever. So I really didn't play for the school then because I think I signed up with or something like that. But me and my brother played for them, and I just remember all the memories traveling to different places like Florida, and we traveled to New Jersey and different places to play football just with my friends. Like a couple of my friends where I'm from, my neighborhood I grew up in middle school, we all put in the same team. So those are some good memories. Like I never forget that cold game in Tennessee we played. I think in like December, hands was freezing, and most of the time it was like raining and it was cold. So we basically like playing on a slip and slide, and it was freezing cold. And I remember
Wow,
none of us could feel our hands, so that was really unique. And I'll say that's like the most memorable stuff about middle school and just high school. Playing basketball and tracks. Like I think I did track all 4 years of high school, but I didn't really take it serious till my senior year. I actually run the 100 or whatever, 100, 200. But like towards the end, they started putting me in the throwing events because I got bigger. Like I came into high school 5'8", I think 150 something pounds, and I like my next year, my sophomore year, I was like 6 foot 200 pounds. So I got like a huge
wow.
growth spurt, got bigger, just like more athletic wise. So yeah, and I won a state championship in track and shot put. I don't know, and this too. I don't know if many people realize that. That was probably a really big highlight because a lot of times, like my senior year, I was kind of much like checked out with any other sport besides, you know what I mean, playing football, focus on getting ready. But just like my old track coach, Mescanella, she passed away, but I'm always forever grateful for her because for her or whatever, she convinced me and my brother like to keep up with the track, and we ended up winning state, and that's probably like one of the best memories I had in high school, and that's the only ring I have in high school, and I never forget that. And also like basketball is a big part about what we did, and I just like going traveling with my teammates, Isaiah. he plays basketball Army now, and just like Mo, all those guys taught me so much. Just like because when I first came there, sports was kind of my way to bond with these people, or these new people. It was like a new culture going to my school. Like going to my school, I went to a private school, Heathwood Hall, and I feel like it was like a culture shock. So just bonding with my teammates. I remember going to my basketball coach's house, Coach Whalen. We went there like he tried to have us over there before the season. Like every year, we could have like pizza. Like he's from New York, so he makes the best homemade pizzas. Just being at his house, seeing different cultures. So that was really exciting. So that's some of the memories I had about other sports in high school.
All right. So let's talk about football and doing a little bit of my research. Like you did pretty well in football. Like what were some of the accolades and some of the things you were able to accomplish on the football field?
Just on the football field wise, I thought I was gonna be a running back my whole life. I can't even lie to you. Like I thought I was gonna be my name on Instagram is last King Porter because I got it from Derrick Henry's Instagram handle. But when I was younger, I thought I was gonna be like the next running back, next great running back. But in high school, my freshman year, I kind of was like, I told you I was really small, so I was like varsity and JV kind of. We won like a championship on JV, but I was also playing varsity like every week too. So that was kind of like when Coach Lattimore is there. I don't know if you know Marcus Lattimore, great running back at USC.
Yep.
He was
Yes.
there, so he just like he didn't want me to like go to varsity too fast and like you know what I mean lose confidence or whatever. And if I wasn't ready, but every time I play varsity, I would do good. Had like 3 touchdowns that year. But we won a championship for the JV team, and then my sophomore year, and I really started to break out a little bit more. We got a new coaching staff change, but I think I ran still playing running back. I played both sides. I started both sides, but that year, and that's when I really broke out. I think I had like 1,000 all-purpose yards. I only had like 90 something carries though, and I had like 60 something tackles, like 5, 6 sacks, and a couple forced fumbles. And that year, I won. I won like first team all running back that year, so that was my first time actually winning something for football. And then that next year is when I made a really huge jump. So I grew 6 foot. I was sick, whatever. I'm like sophomore year, I'm like 6 foot, 200 pounds, but my junior year, I'm like 6 foot one basically, and I'm 215 pounds, and I grew, and I don't know. We had that time off for COVID, so I had a lot of time like the lift and stuff going into my junior year. So I pretty much went off that year. That's when it was like me and my brothers, kind of my team. I feel like the years before it wasn't really my team. It was like the people, older people in front of me. But this year, I feel like my junior, the senior was like kind of like my team. So I took it personally just to work as hard as I can. And I ran for 2,000 all-purpose yards, and I had 100 something tackles, like 5 or 6 sacks, a couple forced fumbles, and I won. I think I won offensive MVP that year for my team, and just for skis to the first team, I running back. I won just in the state wise because Skisu, like the division I play in is like a private school league, but that's that year I got honored as like just the state of South Carolina as a player, as a running back, as an athlete. That was pretty cool. And I got to be on WITX player of the week. I won it like 2 or 3 times. And my senior year, kind of weird, but we had a couple less games, but I really took it to the next level and I ran for another 2,000 yards, another couple of 100 tackles. But we I won like MVP, like offense MVP. My brother won defense MVP, and I won first team All State again. I was selected to a couple All Star games, so
Okay.
that's pretty much it. But just team wise, like changing the culture from when I first came there, winning like when I first got there, winning was not a big thing there. Like we used to have like maybe 10, 15 people at the football games, and nobody was like, actually believing in our program, and just like Coach Lattimore brought me and my brother and a couple other people along, and just like the people we had there, we changed. I feel like we changed the culture there. I feel like that's the most important accolade. I feel like I brought to the school. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
good.
now, like people expect for us to win games. Like now, people don't go to the games and leave at halftime to joke around with us. Like people now, when people look at our schedule, their schedule, and they say we have to play Heathwood this week, that's gonna be a problem. So I feel like that's the greatest accomplishment I ever could have gave to Heathwood. Just changing the culture there. Like we can win stuff here. So
Gotcha.
sophomore year, first playoff berth, and we had it at home. Got our first playoff experience. So that was a good little run. Second year, second round, and my senior year, sadly, we lost in the first round, but it was like shorter playoffs. So technically, that was the semifinals. But just going to the playoffs back to back, just like letting people know like you can win stuff here. You can, like Heathwood, just not like an educational school. Like we could do it. We could do it all. So that was a big thing. Biggest thing I
That's
feel like I
good.
accomplished.
That's good. Have you been able, since you've been in college, have you been able to go back to Heathwood and just maybe mentor or coach some of the young players coming up?
Uh, yes, sir. Actually, we all in the group chat together. I still like all the younger players that follow me on Instagram or ask me for advice. Like my friend JB, he just committed somewhere. I think he committed to play at Hampton or whatever. He went to Heathwood. I give him workouts, but I always give him advice. Every time I'm back at Heathwood, I remember I did a pregame speech like a year or two ago. I try still to go to the games. I still tune in. I retweet all their stuff. I give them advice all the time, all types of workouts. Like I feel like that's something I didn't think I really be into once I like left Heathwood, but Heathwood's still a big part of such a big part of my life. Like I want to like teach them everything I know. So I feel like if I know something I know that helped them win, I always let them know. And I just met the new coach here not too long ago. I think like 2 months ago, and it's like that's not even the head coach that was there when I was there. So I feel like
Wow.
I still talk to Heathwood a good bit. It's still a big part of my life, and I think I'm gonna do a football camp here coming up. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. I'm trying to get that set up. So.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So I just want to ask, like, as you were going through your years at Heathwood, when did you kind of recognize that you had an opportunity to play on the next level?
I kind of recognize that like that was always my main goal. You know what I mean? Like I always knew if you work hard, good things always happen. And I always pray. Like even like at the beginning when I first started Heathwood or whatever, my first couple years, and I wasn't getting many looks or whatever. Like my grandma used to always tell me God had a plan. And I always like trusted in that. Like sometimes it'd be sad and depressing at first, but you gotta remember, like your story's already been written. God got a plan for you. And I truly believe in my heart. Like I was one of the best players in the state, and I worked hard, and I worked like it. And I always kept that mindset about myself, and I never complained. I complained to some, but most of the time, like you would never know. I'm sad. Like I'm always like if I was hurting or sad, like because I was so excited what God had planned. I knew like things were gonna work out eventually. So probably on my junior year, and I really realized like I can play somewhere, play somewhere.
Okay. All right. So, what was the process like for you in choosing a school? What were the things that you looked for in deciding what school you would continue your career at?
Uh, Main thing is just like the coaching staff and the culture there at the program. So for me, like my recruiting kind of got messed up with COVID or whatever. So a lot of my offers and looks wasn't the same as they were, like as they should have been. But like I feel like I didn't have the same opportunity as everybody else because everybody got the extra year. So it's kind of weird. But like even through that, I feel like that was one of the saddest points of my life because I worked so hard and I feel like everything was taken away with COVID. And I feel like everybody can agree with that. Like somebody had some type of loss during COVID. So my biggest loss, I was like the saddest point in my life. Recruiting was down. I wasn't really talking about like going to the next level. There's something I've dreamed about my whole life as a kid, playing football at the next level. So that kind of demoralized me. But again, like found like kept my trust in God, kept the trust stronger. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I had played an all-star game and I thought I was probably gonna go like Division 2 somewhere. But at last second, I played an All-Star game, but then Wake Forest texted me about an opportunity, and then next thing you know, I'm walking in. I never forget this. I'm walking in the gym class. It's like 8:49 in the morning, and the running backs coach Desmond Kitchens at South Carolina followed me, and then next thing you know, the D line coach followed me, all back to back on Twitter, and I feel like my heart just dropped. Like they didn't even text me yet, and I already texted my mom like, "Oh, look at this! I'm putting this in the group chat because I was so excited." And then like after that, they just kept on communicating. They kept on talking to me. They kept it real. And even when that old coaching staff left, Eric Kimmy came there and he kept it real with me and told me how the coaching staff felt about me. And I feel like it's home and it felt right. There's good education here. Like you can't beat that. When you watch this team your whole life growing up on TV and you get the opportunity to play there, you just gotta take it. So that's it. That's it.
Wow. So, for those that don't live in the area, again, I'm originally from New Jersey, but I've been blessed to live in Sumter, South Carolina for a few years and live right here in North Carolina now. Tell those that get to watch it what is the rivalry between Clemson and South Carolina like? Being on the Gamecock side, tell them how big that rivalry is for you.
It's truly I can't. You just gotta be there. It's nothing like okay. So people say when you watch college football games, the college be like sold out, sold out. But Clemson versus USC is actually sold out. 2 hours before the game, the whole stadium is packed. Like the whole week of practice is different. Like I feel like we got a whole different mindset. It's like we hit that second boost throughout the season. And I feel like, I don't know, that motivation, just that hatred for each other. And like you just want to compete against each other. Two good teams competing always at the end of the year. I feel like it mean more, and especially if you're from South Carolina. Like I'm from South Carolina, we always had like a saying. I was divided. My uncles and my uncles and my cousins. I feel like most of my male cousins are Clemson fans, and I feel like a couple of my male uncles and my mom and stuff are Gamecock fans. So for me growing up, before I got to college, we we'd go every time that game came on. It's always on Thanksgiving, like last game of the season. We all watch it together, and like everybody would sit on two different sides of the house. We wouldn't talk to each other. We like fake fighting or whatever, like for what side we wanted to win. So just joking around, just making it even worse. And we used to always talk about like, oh yeah, if like Carolina loses, oh we're gonna be like, you got 10 push-ups or something like that. And I don't know, it's just like you can't describe it. I feel like this is like a statewide thing. If you don't know about that rivalry, like I don't know what you're doing. You're not from South Carolina, so yeah.
That's true. I got an opportunity to feel a little bit of that. I got a buddy that graduated from Clemson. I again have a lot of family that's Gamecock fans from that South Carolina area. But yeah, I know that rivalry is serious. You know, riding 95 through South Carolina, you might see some signs Clemson and South Carolina. So you see it, and I know the rivalry is definitely a big rivalry. So let's talk about academics a little bit, man. Just like what was it for you that helped you to be able to keep a balance as you moved on from high school? I mean, you could talk about high school a little bit and even college. What helped you in keeping a balance as a student athlete?
I feel like the biggest thing, I feel like the school I went to helped me prepare. But like once I got to college, I realized like you gotta just know what to do with your time and stuff. You gotta know what time it is. That's what my strength coach always says. You gotta know what time it is. You gotta know when to goof off, when to do your work, when you got time, when you got freedom, when you can do certain things. You gotta know when to be a man or when to handle your business. So I feel like the biggest thing is like setting aside time like to complete stuff. Don't try to do stuff at the last minute. You want to try to complete stuff as quickly as possible and as early as in the week as possible, because you don't want that like at the end of the week, Friday or Saturday, and like it's coming like to the weekend and you got like a bunch of work to do. So I feel like the biggest thing is just your time management skills, because in college you're gonna have time to do the work. That's never gonna be a problem. And just at USC in college, they give you so much resources for us to succeed. So for us not to succeed, that just had to be like it's on yourself if you don't succeed. Like you get tutors, we got an academic center called the Dodi, just for all athletes and stuff to go to. And like for freshmen coming in, they're gonna set you up right because they give you mandatory study hall, whatever. It's gonna sound like a punishment, but that right there is gonna set you up for the future. Because after practice every day, you have an hour to go in the Dodi and you have to do work for like an hour or two. And like you always give all your advisors all the work you got to do that week, so they know what you got to do, and you got to make sure all your work you got to do certain assignments that day. So that just sets you up for the future. Like I play after my freshman year, I kind of had that like instilled in my head. And like you gotta want to succeed too, because you gotta realize football is only a gateway, and this is an opportunity for education. You're there for education first. So that's just the main thing. You gotta have your mindset right.
That's good. That's good. So going to an awesome program like USD, like have you had an opportunity to meet a lot of the great alumni that have come through there?
Oh yes, sir. I met plenty of great. I met Connor Shaw. I met Connor Shaw actually used to work at the building. I met Marcus Lattimore. Debo Samuel's been to a couple games, and just like the players I've been with, as like made it to the league. Like Spencer Rattler was there. Um, Xavier Leggett was like I talked to him about just about every day. You know what I mean? It's amazing being there, and I feel like it's no place like USC. That
That's
home
good.
feeling, it's no other place. It's like it feels like home. I'm just saying there or being biased, but you got to experience it yourself. It feels like home there. So it's been great.
Wow. Wow. And in the little while I was in South Carolina, I didn't get a chance to catch any SC games for those 5 years I lived there, but I was able to catch, some high school state playoff games. Again, living in the Sumter, South Carolina area. So I was able to go there. And that was the stadium is William Bryce, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I was able to catch some games. So beautiful stadium, beautiful atmosphere. Football is on a different level in South Carolina. I was able to, again, to experience, football on a high school level. And so even, as we talk about, the great alumni that came through SC, many people may not know a lot about Heathwood, but who are some people that's come through Heathwood that people may know about?
Age of big one, probably the biggest one, Age of Wilson.
Yes.
That's probably the biggest one. Everybody love Age of Wilson. I haven't personally got a chance like to meet Mira 1-on-1, but I met her before. Also, Don Staley used to come back to our games like when I was like through coming in high school because they're like our God kids to go to high school. So Don Staley used to be at the game, so I had a couple opportunities to talk to her and meet her, and
Okay.
that was really cool. But the biggest alumni probably just being AJ Wilson.
Yep. Yep. And that was one I was familiar with. Definitely doing an awesome job in the WNBA. So, how do you? I want to get to college a little bit, and we've touched that you and your brother are both there. Was that a game plan for you all both to play at the same school?
I feel like you can only thing I can say that's just God. Like it's truly a blessing. We played together every team we played for the same team our whole life. And I remember like that first time we didn't play together was when I went to college for that first year, and then the year after that, he went to a D school, Lenore Ryan. It was kind of weird not playing with like I don't know. I feel like I just changed my confidence around because you know what I mean. That's my brother. Like we do everything together, and like I feel like God couldn't have planned that any better. Like me and my brother, I can remember vivid nights us staying up watching college football together like, oh yeah, we can't wait till we play at USC, making a play there, having the whole crowd pumped up. And all I can say is just thank God, man. Like that's truly like not many people can say that your brother plays from the same team as you. And it's a big time dream school for both of us. Like my mom still has pictures of us inside Gamecock jerseys every time we had jersey day in elementary school or high school. I feel like that's the biggest blessing of them all. Like I can't all I can say, God did. That's all I can say.
That's
Truly a
good.
blessing.
That's good. That's good. So, what are some things that Mr. Ronnie Porter does outside of sports? What do you do for fun? What do you do when you're not working out and training? What do you do in your spare time?
My spare time. Many people may not know it, but as I said, I'm from East South Carolina, small town, so kind of a country boy. I like to fish. One thing, like I'm a huge fisherman. Like I love to go fish for I like to go fish for catfish the most. I like fishing for bass too, but I think my favorite is catfish. Another thing is just gaming, chilling with my family. Most of the time you're gonna catch me, I'm never probably gonna be alone. Probably gonna be with my brother or my younger sibling or just somebody. I like to spend time with people and interact. You know what I mean? I like to be in the moment a lot. So that's like just two big things in my if I'm probably not working out, training, or playing football, I'm probably spending time with friends or family fishing or something. And also, I'm a bowler. I'm not the best bowler, but hey, I'm not a casual neither. So I'm bowling 130, averaging at 130. So bowling is probably my third thing. Probably those three
That's
things I'm doing the most besides football. So yes, sir.
that's good. So, if you're speaking to the young athlete that says, "Hey, I want to play on the highest level possible," whether it's from middle school to high school, what are some things that Ronnie Porter has done to put himself in a position? You said all the accolades you got, you worked hard to do that. You know, God bless you, but you worked hard to do it. What would you tell the young athlete if you're mentoring or talking to a young group of athletes that's serious? Because so many young people say, "Hey, I want to play Division I ball. I want to go to the pros." You tell them from your standpoint, what are some things you were able to do to help you position yourself to be where you're at?
Anything that's good in life, probably you have to work hard for it 99% of the time. And I feel like you can't lose sight of that. Like it's gonna take sacrifices. Either you're gonna suffer now or you're gonna suffer later. Like you're gonna make a sacrifice. If you want to do this, you gotta make this like your goal. You gotta be prepared to cry. You gotta be prepared like to fight for this. And I feel like that's the most important thing, just your mindset, because most people be like, oh, college football, like these guys so big and strong. But you gotta imagine yourself in that position. Another thing is like you just you gotta be very diverse. I feel like in a bunch of different things. I feel like playing football at next level is not only just like a physical thing, but it's also like a mental thing, as I was saying. Like classroom, that matters. Like having good grades, that matters. Like you're just not a football player. Like you're a student athlete. And I feel like you gotta have a good support system. That's just another thing. Like you can't like I can say a lot of times I feel like I was like down on myself. I feel like I couldn't do it. But I always had like my mom or my brother or my uncle just they're like keep me motivated, keep me pushing. And I feel like if you do those things, it's pretty simple. And just work hard. That maybe a lot of people may say that, but that's like a serious thing. Like hard work makes a difference. Hard work beat talent. I feel like that's a statement really true. So that's some of the things I would say. And also like just recruiting wise, Twitter, like putting yourself out there. You gotta I know it may sound like annoying if it doesn't work, but you gotta start somewhere. Like putting yourself out there on Twitter. One thing like that changed my life uh recruiting wise, just Twitter, like and social media, this day and age, social media is like a big part of recruiting. A lot of coaches are on like Twitter and stuff looking for prospects all the time. So and your Twitter bio, you want to have your height, weight, I always round mine up like a couple pounds anyway to make it look better. But
Right.
so that's some advice. But have your huddle film ready so like coaches can easily assess that stuff. Like that's really easily accessible for the coaches and stuff and the recruiters. And I feel like I should send my film out every day, like 20, 30 different coaches a day. Like even if they didn't recruit like directors recruiting. I feel like every time I like had like a good or significant game, I always posted it on my Twitter feed and I always tag coaches. You know what I mean? So I did stuff like that. And I feel like another thing is just like, I was really involved in the community, so that helped me kind of get out there because, you know what I mean? If you, I'm putting like in the newspaper, like I never denied an interview or any of that because that's giving myself a chance to put myself out there more. So just put yourself out there as much as you can.
That's good, and we definitely appreciate you because I think it's in these times that you like you said with interviews, your other young people are always looking up to you. And so, like you said, having an opportunity to go back to Heathwood or back to your hometown, this is an opportunity that young people will see that hey, he made it from where I'm from. I can make it from where I'm from. And so I think it's the awesome job that you're doing. We definitely on Out and Up appreciate you joining us. So I want to get into school a little bit more, just your major and things. What are you actually majoring in?
I'm majoring in retailing. When I went to college, I kind of just like my whole life plan, like a weird little obsession I had was just like I used to like home flipping shows, like flipping, selling Vegas. I grew up watching that, and my uncle been a contractor growing up, and my uncle was a big part of my life. So something I always wanted to do is just I wanted to flip and sell homes. And I was like, for me, playing those little games online, like even playing Sim City, and all that. Like I always had a
Wow,
passion for doing that and just like growing communities. So that's something I always wanted to do, and I always had good people skills because I feel like, you know what I mean? Like you kill people with kindness, you be nice to them. Like it's fun interacting with people and picking their brain and getting to know new things. So I'm majoring in retailing and I just want to like for me, I want to flip and sell homes. That's my whole goal with football. Because I mean like being here for South Carolina football is a big thing here, especially being in Columbia. And I feel like it's gonna be easy to like sell homes here. But that's my goal. I want to flip and sell homes in Columbia and eventually start my own business and expand out to like all over the world. So that's what I want to do.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, do you still watch a lot of the flipping home shows now?
I still watch them here and there, but I'm not really a big TV guy anymore. I thought like growing up was one thing you realize like you think you need TV, but like I don't even know like wow I don't even have cable in my house. So most of the time
Right.
I'm just watching YouTube or something. But I still like even on my TikTok feed I got like flipping flipping stuff on there, investing stuff on there. So that's something I still follow a lot. And my main thing is just learning from my uncle, like asking him about like his process and like what it's like for him, like being a contractor because he's built homes from the dirt up, and he's also had homes with like maybe two fixes and is ready to go back in the market. So that's like a huge thing.
All right. So I want to ask, just this as this season is fastly approaching. Like, what are some of your goals from an academic and even athletic end?
My goals this year is just like the be. My whole goal is like be better than I was this time last year or even last semester. Last semester I finished with a 3.6. That was my GPA. My last semester GPA 3.6, and I know like I was like maybe like a couple points here for maybe a 4.0. So I'm just trying to be better than I was last. Like I'm trying to compete with myself. That's the main thing. You gotta be ready to compete with yourself. That's what I'm telling myself, just to be better than I was last year. And just for a football thing, like I just want to let people know, like I'm here and I can play. That's my main thing. Like I'm putting in the work, but I'm putting it in silently, coming back every day, at least 3 times a week, getting extra work in. I just want to put like the road on notice I can play, and I just want the team to win. That's the main thing. Like whatever road the team want me at, I'm willing to do it. Like, that's long snapping, kicking, covering the punt, kickoff, linebacker, whatever. Like I want the team to know, like I'm there. I'm there for them. I'm here to win. That's like the main thing. That's the goals for this season, just to win, dominate, put something around the mat.
That's good. That's good. So for the young person that's watching and they just say, many young kids face different obstacles depending on where they're from. What's some advice you would give a young person, in being able to really focus and own in on their craft of playing the sport of football? Like what are some things you would first tell that young player to kind of be able to drown out the noise of whatever obstacles they may be facing in life so they can focus on their dream?
I feel like the main thing it should be finding a relationship with God. Reading the verses. Like one thing I have my biggest accomplishment I accomplished, and one of the goals I set was to read the Bible app every day. Even if like it's not a lot of reading, it takes 3 to 5 minutes, but it takes 3 to 5 minutes to get on your phone, scroll on the TikTok video, whatever. So you can take 3 to 5 minutes out your day. I mean, to read a verse, like read a verse. And I feel like every day I feel like a verse taught me something or related to something in my life, no matter what it was. So that's the main thing. Find your relationship with God. And the next thing is you got to see yourself there, like in the future. Like you gotta think, you gotta make life decisions. Like, is this gonna help me like get to where I want to go? And you gotta think. For me, you gotta find your why. Like, what drives you every day? What makes you get up in the morning? What makes you want to do this? You gotta find your why. You gotta have a why. Like your why should make you cry. Something we say at the football facility. You gotta find your why. Like something that's so important that like it won't stop you. Nothing can stop you. Like it's so important to you. Like nothing in this world can stop you. You gotta figure out like what you want to do. You gotta find your why. And find like for me, my why is my family. Like my mom and my uncle put so much trust into me, and they put so much into me. Like I can't let them down. So that's my why. So every day, like I'm feeling down or sad, and I feel like I want to make the wrong decisions. I'm thinking about like what would they do? Like they working every day. They probably don't want to go to work every day, but they're doing it for me. So it's my time to do it for them. Just gotta find your why. You know what I mean? It's gonna be influences outside of everything. It's gonna try to get you like a shortcut or easy way to do it. It's no shortcuts in life. You know what I mean? You got no shortcuts in life. You got to be ready, ready to work, be prepared, and you be ready to go and ready to accomplish your dreams and find a relationship with God. So that's just the main things.
That's good. That's good. So you talked about, your love and passion for flipping homes outside of the sport. What do you say to the young athlete? The biggest part of my show is just always, trying to minimize how many young people put all their eggs in the basket, going fully after that dream of playing that sport. And then whether they don't make it past high school, don't make it past Pop Warner, don't make it past, playing college ball, or the ones that make it onto the pros, but then their career is cut short, maybe from an injury. What are the things you would tell a young person about making sure they have goals outside of the game? Because at some point, whether you retire in the NFL or in another pro league, it's going to come to an end. And it's what you do is not who you are. So I ask you, what do you tell a young person about preparation and having goals outside of the sport?
Okay, so touching on that subject, I feel like Coach Lattimore taught me that a lot. When I first came to Heathville, whatever, my whole mindset was football or bust. But he taught me football just a gateway to where you want to go. And as I was saying, like for me, big believer in God, and I feel like God has your story written, like it's already written, and He has a plan for you. So like, you gotta be honest with yourself. Maybe 1% of people make it to the NFL or whatever. 4% go D1, whatever, play college football, and 1% make it to the NFL and they actually play longer than like 2 or 3 years in the league, probably even shorter than that. So the main thing is, I feel like find something that makes you happy besides football. You know what I mean? Football is not everything, but remember, it's just a gateway. Even though you maybe only played in high school, maybe play football in high school, that might have opened up a new opportunity. Like you met different people, you had like that experience with your teammates, and they may go on to own a business, and then you know them. So now you got a job, you got an advantage because you know your teammates. So be ready to network, and you got to keep an open mind. Like I said, like you should always like if you want to do football and that's your dream, keep it high, whatever. But always keep an open mind to other stuff. Like try to find different things that you enjoy to do. So for me, like I said, like what's your other passion? I was thinking like if I didn't play football back in the day, I ain't really think about like flipping homes is like something I wanted to do. But I'm thinking about like besides football, what gives me like that joy and excitement and something I know I'll wake up and I want to do every day. You gotta find out what type of person you are. And for me, like I know I'm more of a leader type. I'm a leader type person. I want to have my own business. And I know like like when it comes time to work, I know when to work. And you gotta find out like what you're good at. For me, I know I'm good with people. And I know my uncle's a contractor, so I know about the housing side of things. And I know like my whole life I've been watching like real estate shows and all that. So I know a good bit about houses. You gotta find a passion. For me, like I feel like I love like flipping homes so much and love that type of stuff so much because it's kind of like football. Like you have a team of people, or you can work by yourself, however you feeling. But it's like it's competition. Like I'm putting
Okay.
myself in the mind, like I'm competing with other people. So that's another thing
Got
that like keeps you on track, and that like that's a rush. That feels good. The main thing about football, like you good relationships, competition, and just having fun. Like I feel like you have those three things, whatever career you want to do, that helps out a lot. So
That's great. That's great. Great information. So we're going to wrap it up and get into our last couple questions we ask every show. And the first one is, how important is it to have positive people in your circle?
Again, I feel like I even touched on that earlier before you even asked this question. You got to have a good support system. I feel like you got to surround yourself. That also does answer the other question too. Surround yourself with people that want the same thing as you. Like who you friends with tell me a lot about yourself. You surround yourself with people that want to be lazy and be bums, don't want to do nothing with their life. That's 9 out of 10. That's going to influence you and make you want to be lazy and not do anything with your life. So you want to find people like that want to be successful, who want to make money, who want to be like who want to do stuff with their life. That's another big thing. Like surround yourself with people who want to be just as good as you, because they also push you and you also push them, and you'll learn so much about yourself that you didn't even know. And I feel like one person, like for me, is probably like my best friend, but it may be like controversial because he's my brother. But my brother, I feel like just like me, like he wanted no matter what, even when I don't feel like working sometimes, like those days I don't feel like getting up and working. My brother, like, come on, bro. Like, come on, you gonna let somebody outwork you today? And I'm like, nah, you right. Heck no, I'm not letting nobody outwork me today. So we always push each other like that. And even with my mom, like my mom, I talked to my mom. I was like, even having the worst day of my life, my mom be like, how you like, what you doing? How you doing? I'm like, whatever. Like she called me, check up on me. I'm like, I'm saying I'm having a horrible day. She's like, you woke up this morning? I'm like, yeah, you right. And she said, you got shoes on your feet? I'm like, yeah, you're right. The lights on in the house? Yeah, you're right. Like, you got to be fortunate and grateful for what you got. I feel like some people are so sad because they're trying to compare themselves to everybody else, but just be grateful for what you got. It's another huge thing. And my grandma sends me prayers every morning, and my auntie sends me prayer every morning. I feel like every day somebody should try that. Like, send a prayer or just tell somebody thank you every day randomly, and like see how far that goes. Because you never know in that time they need to pick you up, and they don't even know what they're doing like that help you out. So you'll know what people never know what people are going through. So I feel like that's a big thing. Just touch on
Man,
that. So
I'm so happy you shared that one. And reading on the Bible app this morning, I believe the message was talking about the power of the tongue. And so
yeah, I
in
got the
that,
same one.
yeah, so Gateway, I think it is, but talking about the power of the tongue. So it touches on it like you just touched on it, just how the power of speaking into somebody's life. You don't know who may need that. And those that are watching the episode, I can't make this up. And that's how I know, and you all know who watch the show. I'm never ashamed to share my faith, because when God blesses me to reach out to certain athletes, I don't always know, someone's belief. But even again, here we have Mr. Porter, who we had no pre-conversation about faith, but the young athletes, I want them to see what's a common ground in so many of my guests, and that's their foundation in their faith. And another young man is on here. We didn't discuss this before we did the interview, but you've heard him over and over again talk about his reading, his time with God, and spending time with God. Like, it's an important part of your process. And if you don't have a solid foundation, I think it is then that so many young people get pulled into different directions. So I appreciate you being so open and transparent and just sharing that, because I believe our young athletes need to know that you have to have some sort of foundation. And just like me, your foundation is your faith in God. And I think it takes you so much further, whether it's in the sport or whether it's in your personal life. When you have that foundation, you're in good hands. You're in good hands. So I appreciate you sharing that. We're going to get into our last and final question. Who or what is it that inspires you most in life?
What inspired me most in life probably would be my mom. I know a bunch of people are gonna say this, but like if you get a chance, any young athletes listen, thank your mom for everything, whatever your caretaker, whoever, mom, grandma, uncle, because like back when I was younger, I didn't understand much, but now that I'm older and like I have bills and stuff, I really appreciate like all my mom's sacrifice for me. And I feel like my mom is the biggest influence or whatever. Like she taught me like you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna be sad, whatever, but get back up. You know what I mean? Like she always kept a smile on her face no matter what financial situation she was going through or whatever like she had going on in her life. So like as I said earlier, that's my why. That's why I want to do everything. That's why I want to be successful. That's why I am the man I am, and now I'm man and the man I am today is because of my mom. And I feel like you can't take that type of stuff for granted. You can't take time for granted. You gotta spend as much time. Like anytime I get a chance to talk to my mom, or even like spend 5 minutes with my mom, like it's always beneficial. I'm always learning something. I'm always ready. Like even if I don't want to hear it. Now it's how I tell my mom saying it's probably right, and I learned something from it. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thank you, Mr. Porter, for joining us and sharing such awesome information. We'll be looking forward to see what you're doing and how God has blessed you as you're going to another awesome season on the field. Thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So, as I always say to you all watching, it is awesome to be great in the sport that you're playing, but it's even better to be great in life. So, again, we've had another awesome guest that have shared a bunch of awesome information. And I just challenge you to be intentional in applying the information that's been given you. The tools that's been given to you are just tools that help you through your journey and give you the journey of others and what they were able to use to help them get to where they're at. So again, I thank you all for joining us. We ask that you enjoy this episode and make sure you continue to join us as we go out and up.